Today's topic, dividing polynomials. We also call it algebraic division, algebraic long division. And we got this lesson in Excel IGCSE specification B. It's not there in spec A, only in spec B. It's also there in IGCSE further pure maths. And also at Excel IAL P2, Unit 2, Pure Mathematics 2, right? So this lesson will be important to anyone who follows this. So in order to use algebraic long division, of course, you all should be aware of normal long division, which we do with numbers. So same steps, same loop, only we have it in this as well. So I'll take an example. Okay, we need some space for this. I'll erase all this. Okay. Let's start with an example. X cubed plus 2x squared minus 17x plus 6. So these are called polynomials. Our topic was dividing polynomials. So these are polynomial. Polynomial have to contain, polynomial. It has algebraic terms with different powers, and we need to have it in a reducing power like this. You can see we got cube, then the square, then x power 1, and constant x power 0. So that's how a polynomial works. So then the question is, this need to be divided by, let's take it as x minus 3. Okay. Great. Divide by x minus 3. Right. So first, each of these terms should be first divided by x, which is here, right? So when I say x cubed divided by x, when I say x cubed divided by x, an easier way to remember is you could mentally think of it like this. Think of it like this. Yeah, you're basically doing this. So what happens here? You can see when we divide, we cancel off, right? So answer would be x squared. Right? Yes, when it becomes squared. So you need not show this working. This, since this is the first example, for you to understand what's actually happening, you could think it like that. Right. So x cubed divided by x, we got x squared. So whenever we get an answer at the top, you got two steps to do. So this have to be multiplied with the x, and of course we get x cubed. And the x squared also should be multiplied with the number, which is here. And the signs are important. X squared is multiplied by minus 3. So it will be minus 3x squared. Simple as that. Right. Done. Then, just like in normal long division, once we write something below, what do? We usually put a line like that and get the remainder. What do you mean by getting the remainder? We are subtracting. So remember, we are subtracting downwards. So signs are really important here. And of course, x cubed minus x cubed is 0. So if you want, you could write 0. Basically cancels off. The important thing is here. So it's not 2 minus 3. So don't say 2 minus 3 minus 1. No, it's not. Because we are subtracting downwards. So it's 2 minus minus 3. 2 minus minus 3. And of course, you will get 5x squared. Right. So that's the remainder. Just like in normal long division, after we get the remainder, we bring the next digit down. Similarly, in this case, we bring the next algebraic term down. So this is a loop. This is the cycle that keeps on repeating. So now same story. So now you need to ask yourself, 5x squared divided by x. So as I told earlier, you could think it like this. 5x squared dividing by x. So you can see an x is getting cancelled off. So answer is 5x. So we write it at the top. Right. So as I told, whenever we write an answer at the top, you got two things to do. Multiply the 5x with the x, you get 5x squared, and multiply the 5x with the number minus 3. So 5 times minus 3 is minus 15x. Right, looks good. Now it's time to get the remainder. So let's subtract it down. 5x squared minus 5x squared cancels off, so 0, or you can just ignore that. And as I told earlier, please remember we are subtracting downwards, so minus 17, we subtract it with minus 15, right? So minus 17 minus minus 15, this is what it actually looks like, right? So you'll end up with a minus 2x, right? So we got the remainder. Check if we have any more terms. Yes, we got a 6. So we are not done yet. So you bring the 6 down as well, just next to this. Right. And the same loop continues. So minus 2x divided by x. So that's easy. Minus 2x divided by x. Basically, x get cancelled off. So you get minus 2. Right. So whenever we write something at the top, it should be multiplied with both of these, right? So minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. We put a line down and get the remainder. So you can see everything cancels off. So you get a 0. So there's no remainder. And there's no other terms to be brought down as well. So this is it. So answer would be, the final answer would be x squared plus 5x minus 2. You got no remainders in this case. That's not the case every time. There are cases we got remainders. So in this case, we didn't have any remainders. So this is basically it. So it's if you understand the first cycle, the first loop, it repeats the same way. The same thing keeps going. Right. All right. So let's look at another example, shall we? Okay. Right. So this time we got 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 16x plus 10 should be divided by x minus 4. So always as a habit, before you start the division, make sure it's a proper polynomial with reducing powers. You'll understand in a later stage why I mentioned that. Now in this case, no problem. We got the x cubed, we got the x squared, x power 1, x power 0, reducing powers. Because, okay, I'll tell now itself. There are, in certain cases, some of the terms in between terms would be missing. So at that time, you need to include that term along with the 0. So I'll take a proper example later. Right, so let's start. Okay, so first of all, 2x cubed should be divided with the x. So now we know what it means. It basically means this, so you can chop it off. You end up with a 2x squared. Nice. Okay. So whenever we write an answer at the top, you got 2 steps to do. So the 2x squared should be multiplied with this x. Then we get 2x cubed. And don't forget the 2x squared should be multiplied with the second digit as well, minus 4. So minus 8x squared. So if that part is confusing, you can basically think like this. Whenever we write an answer at the top, 2x squared should be multiplied with the divisor, like that. That's how we got the down thing, right? Anyhow, let's get the remainder by subtracting downwards. So this becomes 0. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. So careful, this is minus 5 minus minus 8. Don't think it as minus 5 minus 8. It's not. We are subtracting downwards. So it should be minus 5 minus minus 8. So you'll end up with a 3x squared. Right, that's a remainder. Then we bring the next term down. We got a minus 16x. Okay. So the same cycle repeats. So 3x squared should be divided with the x. Then the x squared and the x, 1x cancels off. You get 3x. 3x. So we wrote 3x up, so you can imagine like this. So now the 3x should be multiplied with this. Okay, this is how it works. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times minus 4 is minus 12x. Okay, time for the remainder. Subtract downwards. 3x squared minus 3x squared cancels off, so you can put 0 or ignore that. Then we got minus 16, subtract minus 12. So then we'll get a negative 4, minus 4x is the remainder. We are not done yet because we got one more term, the 10. So we bring it right down. Okay. Right. Okay, do the same thing. Minus 4x divided by x. X cancels off, so you get minus 4, right? How did I get minus 4? This is what happened. Right, minus 4. So you got minus 4. Now time to multiply minus 4 with the x minus 4. So careful with the signs. Minus 4x. Minus times minus plus 16. Okay, we get the remainder. Minus 4x cancels off. Then we got 10 and 16. We subtract downwards. So 10 minus 16 is negative 6. So you can see we don't have any other terms to bring down. So this is it. So don't worry, not that you are wrong or anything. As I told earlier, remainders are possible. So this time the answer would be 2x squared plus 3x minus 4. We got a remainder of negative 6 as well. Right. So initially this looks complicating, but when we practice this, it's very easy because the same cycle keeps on repeating. So practice a couple of sums and you'll master this process. It's quite easy.